Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advanced, and this match is the most awaited of it all. We have Praggnanandhaa with the black pieces against Alireza Firouzja with the white pieces, and Pragg has been playing spectacular chess this year. This year has been going really amazingly for Pragg, and he's just risen a lot in ratings as well. And he recently became world number 3. I mean, that was absolutely amazing, and now he's inching forward closer one step at a time towards 2800, and maybe even going for the spot for the candidates as well. So it's going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm just really excited to show you this game. So without further ado, let's start with this game here. I've just flipped the board because I wanted to show you from Prague's perspective, and you're going to really like this. E4 was played by Alireza, and we have C5 with Sicilian on the board, and definitely we're ready for a fight. We have knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5. We have the Rossolimo attack or Nejmedino Rossolimo attack. We have g6, castles, bishop to g7, c3, and now just e5, just opening thrust in the center. Bishop captures on c6, d captures on just g3. This is the main line. We have queen to e7, knight bd2, and just knight to f6. So definitely Pragg has prepared something special for this game, and let's see what that is, because here just a4 by Alireza, and now you could just lock in with a move like a5, but here just castles, just waiting to see what Alireza has in mind. And we have knight to c4, knight to e8, and just bishop to e3. So there are some pressure on that pawn, and you could play a move like b6 if you're wondering in this position, but b6 you have to understand, then just a5 comes, and yeah, you're not gonna like what's coming next, because here even if you go for b5, knight goes back, but after knight to c7 you have to understand knight is jumping there, and it's not lost on anything, neither it is a blunder. It's just that your pawn structure gets ruined. Black has an advanced pawn, most likely gonna push, most likely you're gonna have a central thrust, and it's just you don't want to make it too easy for white, because when you make it too easy, there's tactics, and Alireza, he's very good when the positions are easy. It's just that doesn't take him that much time. Even in shorter time formats, he's that good. When you give him a position which is easy and where he can employ all those tactics, it just gets much easier for him. And here, I'm not going for any of this, but just going for knight to c7 by Pragg. He knows that he doesn't want to make it that easy on Alireza. He plays h3 now. Alireza, that's just maybe a bit too slow, because here just rook to d8, and now the rook is very nicely developed against the queen. We have queen to c2, but now comes this b6, finally just going for that. And now you could go for a move like that, but here just b4 was played, immediately striking in the center. And once when I saw this move happening live on the board, I thought it was a great move by Alireza, because you have to understand that once you go for the c captures, and after captures you cannot capture in this position. Let's say you go for this let's say you go for this captures and captures, then you have to understand your position is not that good, because you could shift the entire momentum here in this position towards the queen side, or you could do it in a different way where you just capture this central pawn, and which is the best move in this position. Let's say you go for knight captures. Now if you push c5, if you dare to push c5 in this position, then comes rook, and you have to move back. That is the only square. And once you do, knight to c6 is coming. You're just losing the complete rook. It's completely insane, and yeah, you're not surviving this. And even in this position, if you try to go for c5, not c5, but if you try to go for queen to d6, just trying to keep everything together and just give up a pawn, but after knight captures, rook to e8, you have to get the rook out of there. You cannot capture and give up the bishop, because this dark square bishop will be very strong, and the attack would be devastating. So here, let's say you play d4, but now this is coming once you move the rook, and you have to understand that knight is going to be cemented there. Your bishop is not developed, your rooks are not connected, knight is not at the optimum square. Your position is completely losing, so you cannot just go on grabbing pawns. And here after b4 we had c captures, and knight to a6 was played. And knight to a6 was a beautiful move that Pragg was able to find, not going for direct captures, but just trying to go for mixing it up. And definitely it helps, because here after knight to a6 we have bishop back to d2, but now just going for that captures, knight captures, bishop captures, queen captures, and we have knight captures on e5. And you might ask, how is this different? Well, it's sometimes these things, when you make it, I told you, making it too easy, when you can calculate it very decently, there's just something that it's very difficult to explain, but there is just something in this position that you have to understand. When you try to make it complicated, when you try to mix it up, there is more chances that your opponent makes a mistake, and that's what you have to understand. That's all you have to do sometimes, because in this position queen to d6 was played, same move as we saw, but there is no knight because you traded it off. And now d4, but Pragg finds the only winning move in this idea. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find out the only winning move for Pragg in this position, and have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is c5, and that's the only winning move. You have to understand this knight is under a lot of pressure, and when I say a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. And if you think after d4 maybe you could have played something else and you could get away with it, that's not going to happen. Let's say you play a move like bishop to e6, you have to understand rook f to c1 comes, and there's immense pressure. Even if you play rook a to c8, slowly your position is going to crumble. In some lines, once a queen moves, you can also push that pawn. Once you get the rook out of the way, this pawn is hanging, you cannot push it now, and it's just not a position you want to have, and most likely it would have resulted in a draw. That's why c5 is a brilliant choice. It puts pressure right back to Alireza, asking Alireza, how are you going to get away with all of this? Well, the answer is there is no clear way. If you go for d captures, then just queen to c7. You cannot capture because your queen is hanging, and this is also a threat. So that is very bad. And if you cannot even move it, that's the annoying part about it, about this pin. Queen to c3, now trying to defend everything, but now you just pile up more pressure. You just go rook to e8, and now it's impossible. You're going to lose a piece. Let's say you just try to develop because you've lost a bit too much now. Rook f to c1, but after bishop captures, knight captures, queen captures, queen captures, and rook captures, you get this end game where even if you capture, you're a complete piece up. It's a completely winning position. There is no hope in this position. But after c5 in this position, not going for that line where you're obviously just losing a piece. So here, just going for this rook f to d1, but now just comes bishop to b7. But maybe you can try something, but it's just too much pressure and it's too much calculation that with 17 minutes on the clock, it's just very difficult to do all these calculations. a5 was played by Alireza, but now comes, it's a bit too late. Rook a to c8 now, and now what do you do? Hey, queen to b3 was played, but after queen to c7, we have a captures, and now rook to a7, trying to put immense pressure, but now comes bishop caps on e5, finally just trading it off at the very right moment, because hey, d captures, you cannot go knight captures. If you're thinking you can go knight captures, then just captures, your knight is under attack, you cannot capture it back, and your position is going to absolutely crumble. So here, d captures, but now rook captures, queen captures, and c4. Now how in what universe, how do you stop this pass pawn? And that's the thing. And here queen to a4 was tried, but the queen to a4 is a complete blunder. You cannot do anything, maybe with a move like getting here and trying to stop everything. But if you go there, then your position is a bit too pessimistic, and you cannot do anything after that, because then I just start pushing. It's just that simple. You just start pushing the pawns, and there is no way you can do anything. And so that's why queen to a4 was tried, but now just comes c3. And now Pragg is saying that there is nothing that you can do in this position, no way you can stop the pawn, and I'm just in a completely winning position. And it's absolutely true. Knight to d4 was tried, but now with the idea of maybe playing e6, and there are some tricks. You cannot just push the pawn right away, because here after captures, it just completely falls apart. And maybe in some lines this is also an option. So Pragg needs to be very careful. Rook to d8 was played by Pragg, and we have e6 now. But Pragg sees right through the things that doesn't exist, because if you're thinking there is some threats if you don't capture, well, you're obviously seeing ghosts, because here f captures, and you cannot capture here. If you capture here, just pawn push, and once you capture there, I just queen, that comes with a check, I just pick up the knight, and I'm in a completely winning position. So all is absolutely amazing here. But rook captures was played, queen captures, and knight captures on e6 was played. But in this position, Pragg plays the absolute best move. He goes for this queen to d7, attacking the knight, attacking the queen. And it was on this move, on just move 31, that Alireza Firouzja resigned the game, because there is nothing to be done. You capture, then I'm complete rook up, I have a pass pawn, I'm queening in the next two moves, and yes, all you can do in this position is resign. Pragg played a spectacular game, and he's just constantly rising. And Fabi needs to be very careful, because he is coming after his spot once again. Fabi won the game, I think, in round 2 or round 3, and he was able to reclaim world number 3 title in the live ratings. But now I think there could be some discrepancies, and Pragg is just absolutely on fire, and beating a player of Alireza's caliber in just 31 moves is absolutely spectacular. And this is maybe just Pragg's year, and he's definitely showing why. With the way he's been playing, he's definitely going to be rising very soon to the absolute highest levels of chess. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel. Just keep updated on the channel. I just analyzed a lot of games, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you all for watching.